down and was a stand-up kid. His sweet, sweet kid. Them was happy days, really happy days. School days was happy, happy days.
Mr. Joseph, what do you think about tonight's Conscious Vibes? Favorite memories, eh?
Absolutely, absolutely. School days, definitely, man. I'm still here smiling, thinking about some of the interactions I've had with old school friends just within the last week.
Yes.
Definitely.
Wonderful.
When we talk about you look back to the days of your youth, there ought to be good memories.
Yes.
Yes, and I still have the opportunity as a teacher to share in other people's school days and happy days, and hopefully I try to contribute to the happiness in the days as well.
Yeah.
But beautiful music, man, good stuff.
Okay. I know you're teaching in secondary school.
Yes.
And I'm sure you've heard already about CSC. What is your perspective on the CSC? I mean, the whole genesis of it and so on, and how it has degenerated even further.
Well, the CAC, the continuous assessment component of
Yes.
the SEA, would have been introduced by the ministry, over a year ago, almost going on 2 years now. And there's no question as to the association on it. The association, of course,
On CSC.
very good. The association's position as a representative of educators is that anything that enhances the education experience of our students and that works in their interests is a welcome thing, but that the initiatives coming out of the Ministry of Education ought to be properly managed and implemented in a fashion that allows for effective implementation and maximizing the benefits of the initiative. So that with the CAC, what the association said was, this is certainly a laudable initiative, but it is premature in that the prerequisites have not been put in place. The resources and the training were not put in place. So when in early 2012, the Ministry of Education announced its intention, there's this objection at the RUC.
Okay.
And I remember sitting at the Central Executive one Wednesday morning, and in fact it was the day before that first day of CAC training, which was the Thursday. And I said to the Central Executive, look, it's all well and good for us to sit here and declare the association's position and tell teachers not to do this, we're not supporting it. But we've done that in the past, and we've realized that teachers didn't respond the way we wanted them to. So what we ought to do as the leaders in TTUTA is to go out there and meet those teachers and be present with them and have the media meet us out there and show Trinidad and Tobago that the leadership of TTUTA is meeting with its teachers and standing by its position that this thing is being rushed.
Yes.
It is not going to be effectively implemented because of this rushed approach, and so we're not going to be part of it. And I said to the Central Executive, we need to do that for our teachers because they will be under pressure from administrators and supervisors.
Was it done?
No. The Central Executive was of a very different mind. You see, there are many in TTUTA who think that we ought to be able to say, and our teachers need to know, look, so on that Thursday morning, there are only 2 TTUTA officials that I know of who were out on the field meeting teachers as they went into those centers.
National officers?
No, those TTUTA officials were my vice chairman in Port of Spain at the time, Mr. Marlon Seals, and I. We were at the gates of the Cascadia Hotel meeting teachers as they arrived and reminding them, look, this is our position.
Yes.
We're not supporting this. You are being paid to teach. Go to your schools and teach, and TTUTA will deal with the CAC thing. People wanted to see national officers. It's all well and good to have your district chairman here, but where's the president? Where are the national officers? And that's what I'm saying. We need in TTUTA, and that's what I'm saying Cuthbert Joseph is going to bring to TTUTA.
Okay.
Leadership that is present student.
Okay.
Leadership that is tangible.
All right.
Not going to sit in an office somewhere and pronounce, but somebody who is shoulder to shoulder with teachers declare this is not good enough for our children. These conditions are not suited for our teachers and our students.
No, I taught the Standard 5 class they wrote the exam in 2012,
Right.
13.
Okay.
Now, I was told, do not go to the CSE workshop. And I listened to my union.
Okay, very good.
And the principal, supervisors called and so on. Thereafter, I heard that tutor said to go to the workshop. I was confused. Could you elucidate a bit about this, the whole confusion? Because some teachers are still indignant as to what happened. They feel that they were betrayed by the association.
Well, I want to be careful in how I respond to that.
Yeah.
Yes. One, because I don't want to misrepresent the facts, the sequence as they occur. And
Yeah.
secondly, I don't want to appear to be, political and bashing any other candidate.
Okay.
But there was some confusion created when the notes made by one of our national officers who represented the association at a certain meeting became public. And the notes essentially referred to our position that, in principle, CAC is a good thing.
Yes.
And the impression was given in the way the information was published that TTUTA had in fact changed its position. So there was some confusion created. I think subsequently there were efforts to manage that, but again our communications systems and it doesn't work as it ought to.
That's a problem.
Yeah. So for me, what we need to have, as I said, is clear public statements made by our national officers. There are other national labor organizations where we see the president or the president general standing up. It may not be everybody across the country that's affected, but people at the certain branch are affected. People at the certain work location are affected, and the president is there, the president general is there, the secretary general is there.
So when you become president, we'll be seeing you. You'll be visible.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I would challenge people to call around Port of Spain and environs and ask about Cuthbert Joseph, because I know the service that I have given. I know the presence that our teachers feel. So that even now when I go into schools in Port of Spain, people know me. I walked into a school yesterday and I was at the guard booth. Clerk out from the school, and as I walked into the principal's office, the principal was there with a few students, and he stood up and said, "Oh, this is a very important man, a very generous fellow." He was kind of. But I'm saying that my face is recognized.
Yes.
My name is recognized.
Okay.
Because of the service I provided. And as president of TTUTA, not only will I be present there when there are issues to be dealt with, but I am committing to visit every school in Trinidad and Tobago.
Wow.
Because I believe that our members have the right to expect that kind of presence, that kind of tangible leadership.
Okay.
I hope that the national officers that I work with will join me in that,
Yes.
so that we'll have our 6 national officers moving around on a schedule, so that over the course of an academic year, every school in Trinidad and Tobago would have had at least one visit by a national officer.
Okay, Mr. Joseph. Are you aware about PCR?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tell us. Some teachers are very frustrated right now with this PCR.
Yes.
Primary school
Curriculum rewrite,
right.
yes.
Okay. Now, some principals don't know what to tell their teachers, and the teachers are confused. And when sometimes they go to the supervisors, they too are confused.
Well, absolutely. There continues to be a lot of confusion in education, and it's because of the rushed and haphazard approach that's being adopted by the Ministry of Education, that continues to be used by the Ministry of Education. In fact, I saw over the last couple of days teachers not just confused but indignant.
Yes,
because the Ministry of Education, it's the minister and officials of the ministry were going about and talking about the successful implementation, the positive results that they're getting out of the implementation of this new curriculum.
Yes.
This integrated curriculum. And the teachers were seeing those things and thinking, but how could they say that? We know the reality. The fact is that the curriculum was promised that it was promised that the curriculum would be delivered before school opened, and then the week before school opened there was a meeting and we heard that it was coming, and it was somewhere I think in the first week of school that we saw this new integrated curriculum. And teachers are being asked to implement again another initiative where the resources have not been provided. But the minister and the ministry is saying that it has been, and teachers again are perplexed. Really, are we in the same education system? So I am very happy to say that our current first vice president has organized yet another symposium. There's a program on this Saturday, yes, at the Shabona South Secondary.
That's correct, yes.
From 10 to 1, I believe. Our first vice president, Mr. Freitas, is doing an excellent job. I think there's a marked change since she took over the portfolio, and I publicly commend her on that.
Okay. I want to touch a bit on school repairs.
Oh wow, yes. Yeah.
The Minister of Education at the beginning of the term stated that principals are to be blamed for the closure of the schools. As a matter of fact, some schools are still closed. What is your perspective on this?
That very often we get these statements coming out of the Ministry of Education that causes people to stand aghast. I know that the minister said that the principals were to blame and they didn't communicate and they did not report, and many principals said, in fact, we did report, the information was submitted. The Ministry of Education has consistently, perennially, had problems with managing school repairs,
yes,
and schools not being ready for opening when the school year starts. I want to suggest that while the primary responsibility, of course, falls to the ministry, to EFCL, and whoever the contractors are that are contracted to deal with those repairs, there has to be some effort now to deal with this perennial problem. You see, we can't stand now as professionals and as tutors and say, well, is the ministry year after year? And of course it is. But I'm saying we now have to look for strategies that will deliver results that would redound to all our benefit.
Okay.
How do we do that? One of the things that I am committed to doing for this organization is putting management systems in place to make sure that we can get things done, and we can talk about resolutions and things that we're supposed to do 2 decades now that haven't been done. But also information management systems that will allow us to track what's going on. You see, the association meets with this. We meet with the minister or with the permanent secretary in education on a monthly basis. So we ought, to my mind, to be able to say to the ministry on our regular meetings that this is an update as to what's going on in our schools and where the problems are.
Okay.
So we ought to be able to submit even in advance of our meeting. We have a meeting coming up next week, Thursday. Let's send our communication ahead to the ministry, to the PS, to the minister, and say, okay, in terms of increments, transfers, whatever the issues are, this is our updated list. This is what we want your report on when we sit. In terms of school repairs, the conditions under which our students and teachers work, these are our concerns for this month. That's what we want to hear a report on when we sit with you next week.
Okay, Mr. Joseph, before I get into a document I have here, I just want to ask this question. I've heard it from time immemorial. I've been hearing about the teacher center.
Wow.
What is the key back?
What is the key back?
And what would you do to ensure that these centers, because I know there's one in Tobago as well and one in Trinidad, become a reality?
Okay, very good question. In fact, when you go around to schools talking about, the campaign and what's going to happen with elections and after elections, people say, well, yeah, boy, we've been hearing that a long time. I've been in the service for a little over 20 years now, and I remember as a very young teacher,
Yes.
a buy a brick campaign for our teacher center.
I was a part of that.
Yes. So, teachers across the country should know that we have 2 parcels of land. We have land in Trinidad for a Trinidad Teachers Center, and we have at Carlson. Let me tell you, the Central Executive in 2006-2007, there was discussion about the Teacher Center, and I remember on one occasion, the decision they said,
Wow.
So the decision in 2007 was, let's look into fencing the land at Carlson Field. Now, I was not chairman again until 2011. When I returned to the Central Executive, or as being representative at the Central Executive in 2011, the Teacher Center was being discussed again. And there was a suggestion, let's look into fencing the land in Carlson Field. 4 years apart, and we're still singing the same song. So what is the kickback? I'll tell you what. In 2010, our teachers put a team in office. Now, it's coincidentally the same team that's been there for 15 years, so we know who's been running TTUTA. But we put a team in office. And I can tell you, and any member of the Central Executive who will report accurately will tell you, that there was a problem in the way these people work together. So it fell to the office of the president to deal with Carlson Field. The responsibility was given, the president accepted the responsibility. And there were times when the discussion came up and somebody would say, well, as the president, talk to the president. I'm talking about national officers deflecting the issue like that.
Wow.
And on so many other issues, we've seen that kind of deflection. In fact, whether you talk UTT, whatever issue you want to talk about, when things don't get done, it's a question, it's a situation where you have officers saying, it's his responsibility, it's her responsibility. You see this concept of team is what we have to build after the elections. Put Cuthbert Joseph in there with 5 competent people, and we will build a team and get things done. But you see, we've elected, this party thing.
Yes.
We've elected the team because they all came from the same place, they all have the same symbol, and it has not delivered performance and service for TTUTA and teachers. So what's holding up the Teacher Center? We need better leadership.
Okay. Mr. Joseph, there's a gentleman in the school that I go to, and the UTT issue.
Yes.
And he's saying that the last meeting they went to, you're the only person they saw. I think you and some other people, but he said that you are very vocal when it comes to the UTT issue. What are you going to do to bring this issue of UTT to a close, provided that, let's say, on October 24th you are the president? What would Cuthbert Joseph do? UTT issue.
UTT. Let me be very clear. I am not coming into this campaign saying that I have all the answers or that I will do everything. It's going to be a team effort.
Well, of course.
But the team can't be 6.
But the thing about you must have a perspective too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm coming to that. You see, what I want people to understand is that we are all going to have to work on this. You see, in 2008, the Conference of Delegates discussed the UTT issue. And we said in 2008, these people are going to be graduating in 2010. Let's mandate the IRC to develop proposals and meet with the Ministry of Education to ensure that issues relating to job classification and placement in schools are sorted out before 2010. So that's 2008, 2010. And still in 2013, we are wondering how we're going to resolve the UTT issue. So part of the problem is how we approach the crisis. What I am proposing to do to resolve this UTT matter, there are a couple of things. One, let me tell you, when I was moving around to schools in 2012 and talking to teachers about negotiations, I was also talking to them about UTT. I was at secondary schools in Port of Spain and saying to them, there is an issue on which all of us will have to unite. So the first thing we have to do is to get back to the position where we recognize that this problem is not a problem for this guy in my school and the UTT teachers.
Yes.
But it is a problem that affects all of us because we are professionals in the same system.
If you touch
So
one, touch all.
Absolutely. A teacher is a teacher
That's-
is a teacher. We have to get back to the
yes.
point where any teacher's problem is every teacher's problem. Everybody in Trinidad and Tobago, every teacher in Trinidad and Tobago must be ready to stand together on this issue. So we have to work on getting that message out there and preparing people that if it becomes necessary for us to take some strong action, that we will have support from everybody. So that's one of the things we have to work on from the start.
Okay.
The other thing that we have to do is to get more people involved. You see, I look at the discussions that are going on online. I was at the QREP office for a meeting recently where some of the UTT grads sat with a couple national officers. All right. So this special meeting
Yes.
where the UTT grads sat with the national officers, and I listened. I just listened. I didn't say anything at the meeting. And it is clear that there are persons among these graduates who have a really intimate, deep, thorough understanding of what's going on in the issue, what's going on at the ministry and at the TSC and at the CPO, and they're in touch with it.
Yes.
So we can't presume to say, I'm the leader of TTUTA, I will deal with it. What we have to do is to get everybody in here, so tell me what's going on. Let's all work together and formulate what's the best way out. Who do we talk to? They know who the individuals are. And so one of the things that I'm talking about in taking TTUTA forward, I'm going to make it general and then come back to the UTTSU, is spreading the work by getting more people involved. And not necessarily getting more people coming into QREP office for a meeting in the evening. We can use the technology. We can engage people in using various technology so that we get the ideas, we get the subject matter experts telling us what's going on. We get those who are closest to the issue telling us what they know. And so now I'm in a better position to lead on this issue.
Yes.
Because I have the information from all of these corners. So I'm going to get more people involved in it. I'm going to get close with these UTT grads and really work at formulating that plan. At that recent meeting, there was a commitment from the national officers present to prepare a brief on the issue for the association's attorneys and to have those attorneys give us some advice based on that. So I wouldn't want to preempt
Okay, yes,
the
don't
feedback now
Okay,
that we
don't-
will
yeah.
get from our attorneys.
Okay.
But I am committed. You say you got feedback from a UTT grad? I am committed, and I think that has been demonstrated. Committed to dealing with the issue and to bringing a quick and equitable resolution to the matter.
Excellent, Mr. Joseph. I have here a document, Mr. Joseph, the the acronym TRIM.
Yes.
Yes.
You know, there were some jokes on that too. You say, trim, you're going to cut your hair? Yes.
Tell us about TRIM.
Yeah, well, as I said, I started my MBA class a couple of years ago, and we were looking at organizational turnaround, and TTUTA is the organization that I relate to. And so I worked on a turnaround plan for TTUTA. So this TRIM initiative is really how I have broken down for teachers what I plan to do in taking this organization forward.
T.
So the acronym
T.
T is for turnaround. Yes. T is for turnaround. Turnaround, we said there's crisis, something's going wrong, so we need to change direction.
Okay.
And how do we do that? Well, if the problem is service, then we need to train our officers and we need to train our employees and make sure they are ready to deliver the kind of service that we want to give to our members. If the problem is in our finances, then what we need to do is spend some time now and develop a financial plan that's going to get us out of deficit where we are now
Okay.
and back in the black, and then toward the building the TTUTA that we all want. In terms of our re-engineering, engine room, we have to have things under the hood that are going to get us there, right? So what that means is we have to build systems now that will enable us to do that. So as I was saying just now, we have to deal with the information management. We have to deal with office management, and we have to put systems in place that will enable us to track an issue and see how supervisors, ECCE, wherever these special groups are. The Constitution says that we ought to be looking at developing those special purpose groups to address those issues that affect those individuals. So within the organization, we are all teachers. We are a teacher is a teacher is a teacher. We are all going to stand with everybody's issue. But we need to put things in place so that we can manage those specific things. That's one of the things that we didn't have dealing with this UTT matter. And so I'm saying in terms of re-engineering, we need to look at how we add things alongside the existing structure that will allow us to get things done. Additionally, in terms of our committees, we have so many people in education who are trained in IR, HR, IT, what have you. Let's get that expertise in for our union by engaging people via the available technology. Image and marketing. I and M come together there.
Okay.
And in 2002, I went to the conference, as I told you, I went to the conference first time as an observer. I was an undergrad student in management, and I said to them, I said to Mr. Oliver, he was president at the time, and to the conference there, we have a serious issue. Yes, how our organization is perceived and how teachers are perceived. We have to do some image assessment. So even now, and that was 2002, even now in 2013, because we haven't done that, we haven't done what we said we were going to do 12 years ago. Even now, teachers and tutor do not enjoy good public image. So I am saying that we have to spend some time looking at that. And once we do our image assessment and we understand how teachers perceive us,
yes.
So I have people telling me, boy, I will not join tutor because as far as I'm concerned, tutor is bacchanal, tutor is riffraff, there's no professionalism to tutor. I sat in the same class at MBA level, and we were asked by the lecturer to describe the values of our organization. And of course, in relation to tutor, I said one of them is professionalism. Yes, this class full of executives and employees from various industries, you know how they responded? They laughed. They laughed. I said tutorial values professionalism, and they laughed. I am saying that image and marketing, we have to do our image assessment, and then we have to engage in a plan as to how we are going to review that, deal with that, so we get the kind of perception that we want out there. Okay. And the final M, of course.
Before we get to this final M, we want to get to something else, okay?
All right.
Okay, what does a bell mean? A bell means it's time to know your tutor. Know your tutor. All right. Tonight's question is last week's question. Who was the first president of the Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association? You can call me right now. Right? Remember the number is 769-3752. 769-3752. If you think you have the answer, call me. 769-3752. Who was the first president of the Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association? Call me. 769-3752. Mr. Joseph, final M.
Yes, the final M is modernization. We were talking a little while ago about technology. And I'm saying that we need to bring tutor into the 21st century. We're still in a position where the officers of tutor aren't dealing with interacting with other officials in the organization on a regular basis via email,
Yes.
via the social media.
Uh-huh.
And I'm saying that we have to make that part of our operations. We only recently got to the point where our outlying offices are being equipped with internet access. That's a positive thing. We need to get to a point now where we have a real-time connection between our offices so that we can have that kind of ongoing communication. We also have to look at, I think, the physical infrastructure.
Okay.
Those of us who've been to the QREP office or even to our regional offices recently, I am sure would recognize that we need to really update the look of our organization. So, both in terms of our infrastructure, in terms of our technology infrastructure, in terms of dealing with our teachers' centers, all of those issues, we have to modernize our tutor.
Okay.
You know, there's one other thing I meant to include there. It's in the document, but I didn't mention it just now. Is the question of a strong research arm, so that tutor puts forward position papers on education and is seen by the public as being a voice of the professional, a voice of the intellectual in education.
Yes.
So that when we, for example, deal with issues like the CAC or single-sex initiative or the Magna Schools or whatever
Public
initiative
knows
coming up,
our position.
we must know our
Yeah.
position and see that we are not just obstructionists.
That's correct.
It's not that tutor just come out now to cause problems in education.
Yes.
It's not that we're looking for more money,
Okay.
but that we have done the research and that we are able to present those researched positions. Change the way people see us by changing the way we conduct our business.
Okay. So, my friends, if you think you have the answer for tonight's question, who was the first president of the Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association? Call me. Call me right now, 769-3752. And also, if you have a question for Mr. Cuthbert C Joseph, call me. Just call 769-3752. If you have a question for Mr. Cuthbert Joseph, call us 769-3752. So Joseph, to be honest, I think the public, the teachers out there, they do have a question for you, because I believe you have really, based on this trim, it's a wide spectrum, and it gives us a clear perspective as to how you'll be thinking and everything. The MBA that you did, the teachers were really good. I can see, based on what you're saying and everything, it's quite clear. It seems to me that you are someone who the way you operate strategically, you think strategically, and so that is so important in a time like this.
Right.
21st century, we need to think that way. We need to strategize.
Absolutely.
You cannot just operate as when the day comes, you go to suit. No, you have to think ahead, and when you do that, then of course you will make things happen.
Yeah, I really appreciate that feedback. That's exactly where we are. I'm passionate about building a better tutor.
Yes.
I think we need to get back to, do you know what, if we talk about the objectives of tutor, the aims and objectives of tutor, you know, people, when they look at us, they think, well, this is a trade union.
Yes.
Do you know what the primary, the first objectives, the first objective of tutor? You know, I brought the constitution along, it's written there. The aims of the association shall be, and the first thing listed there, to promote the cause of education.
Yes.
To promote the cause of education. As an organization, we are really supposed to be out there championing what's good for education, telling the nation this is where we want to take education. And I am looking for the opportunity to bring to teachers better service, absolutely.
Yes.
Dealing with all those management issues and turning the organization around to function efficiently.
Yes.
Critically, delivering a tutor that every teacher would be proud to associate with, a tutor that is about improving education.
Okay, Mr. Joseph, I want you to look the camera in the eye. Somebody is at the fence right, a teacher, and that teacher doesn't know. We have 4 candidates, and that person doesn't know which one which person to vote for. Tell that person one more time, in a few words, not much, why that person is to vote for you.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. My name is Cuthbert Joseph. I'm a classroom teacher. I've been engaged in the work of TTUTA for over a decade now, and I'm running for president. And I think that what sets me apart is my passion to deliver service to teachers. There's a question of team and, can I trust this individual? But the bottom line to my mind is you and I believe in that concept of team. But I'm saying that as teachers working together, we are going to build a better tutor. I need you to believe in us. But you know what? Us begins with you. So I want you to believe in you. And I want you to believe that your vote is going to make the difference. That your trust in this candidate is going to afford me the opportunity to build us a better tutor. My name is Cuthbert Joseph. I'm a team player. I need your vote. Let's do this. 2013 is turnaround time for tutor. Vote Cuthbert Joseph on October 24th because we deserve better.
All right. So the question is still there, Mr. Joseph. Who was the first president of the Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association? If you have the answer, call me right now. Call us right now. 769-693752. Mr. Joseph, we have been speaking for approximately an hour and 20 minutes. Wow.
Yes.
Time flies.
It does.
So Joseph, I want to wish you all the best
Thank you very much.
in the elections.
Yes.
And based on what you have said tonight, I know that TTUTA is in good hands. I am certain about that. TTUTA is in good hands. So,
Appreciate that.
I really want to wish you all the best, and you continue fighting and struggling. But before I go, I just want to ask you one final question.
Sure.
Supposition. October 24th. Let's suppose Cuthbert C Joseph isn't successful. What happens to Cuthbert C Joseph?
Well, I'm a classroom teacher.
Yes.
And I think like most of the teachers across Trinidad and Tobago, I am concerned I bear a burden for my students.
Yes.
So if I am not elected president of TTUTA, I will continue to strive day by day to be a better teacher.
Yes.
I'm going to focus on that. But as I said, I have great interest. I like the outdoors. I think I mentioned to you earlier that I do some photo and video work, and I'm having fun with that.
Okay.
In fact, being elected TTUTA president will mean that I have to lay that special love aside for a little while, because
Yes.
I've done some photo and video work for friends and really enjoying that. But I'm going to continue to seek to work at the cause of education, promoting the cause of education in my school, and wherever I can make a contribution to the business of tutor and teaching, I'll be there.
This is the final one.
Final question. All right.
Now, teachers that I meet, they are saying that they want a debate. Are you willing to debate with the other candidates? Are you willing to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm willing to do that.
All right. So
I'm willing. You have my number.
yes, sir.
You create, whether it's on this forum or any other forum.
Yes.
I am willing to meet, the other candidates wherever, because at the end of the day, we need to provide our members with the opportunity to select the best candidate for president. I'm confident I'm that guy.
Okay, Mr. Joseph. Thank you.
Thank you
All
very
the
much
best.
for the opportunity.
Thank you for being on the program. Who are you voting for? So, my dear viewers, that was our guest for the night, Mr. Cuthbert C Joseph. Next week we have Mr. Nicholas Neves. Mr. Nicholas Cooper Neves. So see you next week Thursday on the program. Who you're voting for? Why? Because I want to know who you
Why walking through the night? I see so for a ambition.